and welcome to the final match on night 7 of competition at the Commonwealth Games in the netball. As we see Samoa taking on Jamaica, it's been a big day of competition, and it all comes down to this match. Which team, Jamaica or Australia, will finish on top of Pool B? Mark Redding's alongside former Australian captain Anne Sargent. And Anne, tonight is about Jamaica winning, and winning well, with percentages playing such a crucial role over the next hour and a half.
It's been a huge day, day 7 of the netball. 6 games, and we've waited right until the end to find out the last piece of the puzzle. Australia taking the court early today with a 107-19 win over Singapore has set the stage for us. As we look at the pool standings, Australia and Jamaica are on even points, top of Pool A. So we'll just redo our graphic, as the reality is Australia and Jamaica are top of Pool B on equal points by virtue of their drawn match yesterday, 54 apiece, which sent shockwaves through the international world of netball. Everybody thinking, well, if Jamaica could cause the upset, Australia would face New Zealand in the semi-finals. Now it's come down to percentages for and against. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Just looking at the starting line for Samoa, bearing in mind it's also do or die for Samoa. If they could take the win, then they would push up into contention as well. So Samoa won't lay down and die, and that's proven in their starting line. Latu reverts to shooter. She teams with Pasavalu. So a strong circle combination for Samoa. Captain is at wing attack. Brooke Williams, one of their best on court. Strong running centre, will run the middle. Harder Salia Suafoa behind her. Bench players haven't been exposed as often to these Melbourne games. Their coach is Linda Vangana. She's gone to the top 7 as you would. Catherine Latu, who's played also in keeper for Samoa, back in the shooting role. The young 19-year-old brings 87% accuracy. And for Jamaica, the target in their team, Elaine Davis at goal shooter, is the captain, 29 years of age. She stands 190 tall and brings 83% accuracy. Teams up with Simone Forbes, one of the workhorses in attack. Hilton and Bryan are charismatic in the middle. Gibson, Peterson, Dunn, Everett intimidating at the back. They're coached by Maureen Hall. So as we were saying, Jamaica have been set a target as we scan through their interchange players. Campbell, French, Latoya Thomas, their young shooter. Peter Thomas also there. They've been set a chase target by Australia. Australia went into their match today 186 on the for and against, and they came out of their match against Singapore on a rate of 228. Now Jamaica comes into this match at 207. It's a lot of double dutch, I know. It's this simple. Jamaica need to restrict Samoa's scoring rate. They need to push theirs up. And we're going to let you know as we go, depending on the scoreline, whether they're in touch of bettering Australia's for and against ratio. This is all about getting into the semi-finals and avoiding New Zealand.
Well, if your brain wasn't scrambled after 5 games of netball, we've got the mathematics all in front of you, and we'll keep the audience right in touch with the calculations, the equations for Jamaica as they press for victory. Not forgetting that, of course, this Samoan side is well equipped to push Jamaica this evening.
Number 6 in the world, Samoa, are here as the Oceania representative up against the world number 3 in Jamaica. Jamaica bronze medalists in Manchester, and then they backed up with 3rd at the 2003 World Netball Championships. They are the preferred side, but Samoa, yes, with some lovely netballers in the line and well coached by former New Zealand international Linda Vangana. Looking quite relaxed, Samoa. I guess nothing to lose. It will be an upset should they manage the victory, and they're happy to oblige in that department as they're first to take the court. Game 6, day 7.
They look relaxed, the Samoans. Jamaica, the pressure really on them, although at some stage of the competition, if you're to win a major medal here, you're going to have to beat New Zealand. So that seems to be the obvious answer at the end of this journey.
I think that might have been the logic Australia took to bed last night. Disappointed at the draw, but once they got back to the village and worked through it, I think they would have come up with the answer, well, we have to beat New Zealand at some stage. It's got to be the semi, it's got to be the semi. Jamaica, yes, with the pressure. Mind you, they've got more information than Australia. Australia came to the courts today simply knowing we've got to do our best. Jamaica has the mathematical formula. Whether they can put out the netball around it remains to be seen. They look happy, they look relaxed. They weren't jamming, they weren't dancing in the warm-up, they were very focused. So they're going to bring their best netball to this match. And it's certainly heightened the atmosphere day 7. A long day, a long netball program, but everybody anxious to see the conclusion of this match, Jamaica-Samoa, to see who will play off the medals and in what configuration.
Seems a long time ago that Wales beat Barbados on day 7 of competition earlier this morning. A lot of water has passed under the bridge. And now it's Jamaica and Samoa. The carrot being dangled in front of Jamaica. The top position in Pool B.
So immediately we see part of the game plan for Jamaica, and it's to go the high ball to Elaine Davis, their skipper, under the post. And you'll see a full defensive effort from Jamaica. Part of this puzzle is their great need to defend and deny Samoa access to the goal.
3 wins and a draw for Jamaica so far in the tournament. 3 wins and a loss for Samoa in their campaign so far, as Davis stretches and makes her second goal in the space of 40 seconds.
Just to give a layman's benchmark for this situation, Australia against Samoa. Samoa scored 47 goals. They lost the match by 31. So we've got an indication there of Samoa's scoring ability. And I'll give it to you straight. If Samoa have scored 47 goals at the end of this match, Jamaica will have needed to post 134 to be the better for and against ratio to Australia. Now that changes up and down all the possibilities, but that's a benchmark for you. If we bring it down, if Samoa can score 32, Jamaica need to post 100.
And the most basic equation, 72 goals to Jamaica, 20 to Samoa.
That's as far down as I've taken it. I can't believe that they could score fewer than 20. Mind you, it's a strong opening from Jamaica.
3 goals in succession. Elaine Davis has started well. And do you think the Australians might be keeping a close eye on this?
Absolutely. For those of you who didn't see the Australian game and haven't heard, Australia absolutely methodical, ignored the flair and the charisma of the game and stuck to their task. They scored 107 against Singapore and reduced Singapore to 19 to push their for and against very high, well beyond Jamaica. So it's up for Jamaica to see if they can set a blistering pace.
I'm sure the crowd doesn't know the equation to the extent that you do, Anne, but I know that they realise percentage is important from an Australian point of view. So there is a real interest in this match from the crowd that's come along tonight on night 7 of competition.
And probably not too much preparedness to support Jamaica and ride them along. They might be taking this ride alone.
Here's harder for Samoa. Off to Salia.
Samoa a little as Singapore, although it was a worse situation for Singapore, as Samoa make another play to the post, and immediately they're in this game. That won't help the Jamaican equation. But wonderful play to the post. Catherine Latu now on strike in goals for Samoa. Singapore, of course, the unwilling victims in this morning's scenario. Always going to be tough for them up against Australia, but of course the urgency of Australia's situation made them quite ruthless, and you would understand why. But I know there was a lovely touch between the two teams. Australia quick to get to Singapore and apologise that they were in that situation, and I think some nice gestures extended to Singapore, and they too very obliging in their gesture of support.
Catherine Latu not prepared to do any favours to the Jamaican defence. Casey Evering under pressure, as is the goalkeeper for Samoa, Suafoa, on Elaine Davis.
And of course, the other tiny part of this puzzle is the interaction with umpires. How much whistle comes into the game, how much delaying there is by player and umpire, setting of penalties.
Well, Samoa won't be concerned about a margin in defeat. They might actually be thinking about winning this game, by the way.
I don't think Samoa cares two hoots about Jamaica's circumstance. They have an opponent, they're wearing yellow and black, and they'd like to beat them.
Catherine Latu off the one leg. Roar goes up.
A very considered crowd. I don't know if they've got the calculators at hand, but as you say, Mark, they are aware of Jamaica's situation. And if we could put it aside for a moment, it's just a delightful contest early on between these two. Davis trying to find position at post. Forbes trying to draw the defenders apart so it frees Davis.
So Jamaica out by 3, just on 10 minutes to play in this first quarter. Centre pass to come for Samoa.
You do see an urgency from Jamaica in how quickly they want to retake their centre pass. Not as much from Samoa, who are looking for composure.
Out of defence, Jamaica held up. Well done by Latu, across to Fa'asavalu. They'll finish off the play, and Catherine gets the cheers from the crowd.
So the young 19-year-old Samoan shooter hasn't read Jamaica's script.
Davis with the reply. Must be a lot of Samoans who snuck in tonight.
I think too strong support from New Zealand. That sister feel, country to country. Of course, the former New Zealand representative coaching them in Linda Vangana. So while Samoa won't at all lessen their charge against Jamaica, there would be strong support from the New Zealand fans. Maybe 4 there.
Forbes, ever present, really does weave some magic inside that circle.
And of course, from an Australian supporter's perspective, the villain when Australia played Jamaica, in that she posted a colossal out-of-court goal from a rebounding situation to force the draw. She's a magnificent athlete, and I'm sure the Australian fans begrudgingly acknowledging her skill as they watch the scoreline level.
Samoa on the counter-attack for Asavalu. Ryan pulled out of play. Over the top, Latu has strong opposition from Casey Evering, but she's up to that task.
Well, what a handy selection. Equally talented at either end of the court.
Contact goalkeeper. Yes.
Elaine Davis restores the advantage up to 5, under 8 minutes to play before quarter time.
Wing attack.
If you took maybe a common sense approach and didn't have the rest of it to consider, you'd wonder that Jamaica would probably be looking for 20-goal quarters under normal circumstances. But for that to happen, they need to restrict Samoa to just 4 or 5 or 6. And I think Samoa just too strong.
Particularly the presence of Catherine Latu and Kuimono, who is available in the goal shooting position.
Flick on from Fa'asavalu to Latu, and they're igniting a full house here at the State Netball and Hockey Centre, who have stayed long and late, day 7 at the netball.
Don't worry about the New Zealanders getting behind Samoa. Don't worry about the Samoans getting behind Samoa. These are Australians. They know what's going on tonight, Anne.
They're a fickle mob. They've got an agenda, and calculator buttons are flashing all over the place. Courtside announcers haven't presented the figures that we have at our disposal. They've simply stressed to the crowd that it's a matter of restricting and scoring, and that at the end of this match they will announce the 4 teams who will contest the medals in the netball at these Melbourne Games.
inside the circle.
Jamaica
Yes.
hold a 4-goal advantage. Entertaining start to this
On the ball.
second match on night 7.
Goalkeeper, come in.
Davis
Yes.
taking some eye contact.
Vantage break.
Now Harder set sail for Latu.
Boxing goalkeeper penalty.
Since we've tried to explore every possible option, the question begs, has Maureen Hall been able to exploit it to that extent,
Yes.
or do they simply bring a work ethic that says score as many as you can, stop the other guys, or do they know it down to the fine figures?
Both of you beside us. Boxing goal defense.
Catherine Latu travelling at around 87% in this tournament.
Break, wing attack, free pass.
Well, the breaking call robs Jamaica of possession, and the crowd delighted with the call. I think the umpires possibly can receive a lot of support tonight from the crowd.
Williams to take it for Samoa.
Manage obstruction wing.
Talia heads to Fa'asavalu, and Latu just puts some distance between herself and Casey Evering and continues to chip away at this lead of Jamaica, which is now down to 3.
Vantage break, goal attack.
Consternation on the face of Linda Vangana, coach for Samoa. We couldn't care less about the for and against, but would dearly love to cause the upset. As Samoa trail by just 3, the world number 3.
Manage obstruction, manage obstruction. Contact on the
I
ball.
believe they've only scored 10 goals a quarter, which they've already got with less than 5 minutes to go in the first. The Jamaicans will have to score 118, which really is becoming a tall order as Davis stretches.
Well, Davis can deliver if they can supply enough balls. She's number 4 on the top 10 list, shooting at 83%. She's posted 130 goals going into this match.
Contact wing, penalty.
Just wonder if the discipline lies in the game plan for Jamaica to ruthlessly pursue the formula they'd need on court in their play. Forget the numbers. It demands not being involved in penalties. It demands careful disposal of ball, staying away from the flamboyant game and doing the basics well. It's a big ask.
What we must consider, again, is that Samoa
Free pass.
right in this match. Don't worry about a blowout defeat. They are tracking Jamaica right up until quarter time with 3.5 minutes to go.
Vantage obstruction.
Forbes, very confident operator. She does have a touch of class about her.
She's one of the best movers on show here at the Melbourne Games. Relentless. Very smooth operator, sees the space, opens a lovely change of pace, and that's so important when they're clearing space for each other and then knowing the right time to put the foot down and drive and cut the post.
Catherine Latu just had a toenail over the sideline. It was spotted. And now Davis yet again.
Goalkeeper, yes.
In
Great
space.
take by Elaine Davis, who's playing after 4 sets of operations to knees. Heavily guarded, as you can see.
Launches herself again, but this time it comes off her hand. And Maureen Hall considers the options.
Contact, wing attack, penalty pass.
It'll be Suafoa to get things moving along to Brooke Williams. Harder, Salia, and now Fa'asavalu.
Contact, wing defense. Yes.
Samoa standing tall in this opening term. Latu, that had too much on it for her. And now Casey Evering sets Jamaica on their way. Here's Davis. Well, she was left alone, unattended. She could have stood there forever and waited for the pass to come. It did, but she had to be another 3 foot tall.
And that's exactly what Jamaica don't want. They need a careful application of the simple things in this game and a direct, easy play to the post. A la Samoa.
And Catherine Latu. See the pass to come as well for Samoa.
So we can't state this more simply. Australia and Jamaica locked at top of Pool B on 7 points. Samoa 1 point behind. Australia will have taken points today against Singapore, but Jamaica on 7 will be bypassed by Samoa with a win in this match.
Hilton finds room and goes to Davis.
And fatigue sets in for Reddings.
Thrown that line at you before, but it went right over your head, but that's fair enough. You've bamboozled me a few times.
That was a deliberate choice made out of quality broadcasting.
Losing the plot, but hopefully not the scoreline from a Samoan point of view. An injury time has been called. Or was that quarter time? No. There was some confusion with both benches. Just checking from the umpires here. It's a Samoan injury time from what we can gather.
Yeah, the umpire's just clarifying that it's not quarter time, it is an injury time. And it would appear that it's Ofira Harder at wing defence.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is injury time. This is not quarter time quite yet. Injury time in our first quarter with Samoa and Jamaica here at Melbourne 2006.
Samoa on their way. Less than a minute to play here. Evering makes front position. Latu concedes.
Good work from the Jamaican keeper to deny access to Latu. He's 23 years of age, Casey Evering.
Brilliant interception by Suafoa. And Samoa's defence standing up pretty well. Elaine Davis and Simone Forbes do form a potent combination. And Samoa down by 7. Harder. Short to Williams. Now they push it wider still to Fa'asavalu. Running out of time here. A late score would be lovely for Samoa. And Fa'asavalu will have to shoot.
Marion Johnson Hurley officiating on screen, teamed with Bronwyn Meek.
Shot will be taken. And a good finish to the quarter for Samoa. It is Jamaica, though, at quarter time, chasing a big victory, but not having it their own way. 19 plays 13, quarter time here at the Netball.
2006.
Quarter time coming to a conclusion here. Jamaica holding a 6-goal advantage over Samoa in this Pool B match at the Netball. But Jamaica chasing top spot have a lot of work ahead of them. They really needed to put a massive margin between themselves and Samoa. They haven't done that just yet, in the crowd right behind the Samoans. The Jamaicans set a pass to get us underway in the second quarter.
Lovely play from their centre. Jamaica more incisive then in the way they approached Elaine Davis.
It's harder. Pushes forward to Fa'asavalu. Salia creates, and now Brooke Williams receives the bounce pass. Trying to get the ball to Fa'asavalu or Latu, who is heavily marked by Casey Evering.
Holding goalkeeper.
And this should make it a gimme to Catherine Latu.
Running out of room. A couple of times now Jamaica have misjudged the feed to Davis. Now they will advance the penalty. The crowd here at the State Netball and Hockey Centre not appreciating that gesture.
Almost a held ball, and it's been called just that way. Forbes, lovely delivery, and the captain, Elaine Davis, would like them to be delivered on a regular basis, if at all possible. Brilliantly done by Gibson. Works to Forbes, goes herself, gets the score, and the Jamaicans, when they do put it together, they do it very, very slick.
When they put it together, it's lightning fast, but they're not stringing it enough. The error rate's still high at the same time, so one part of their play working against the other.
Ball defense, struck in.
Margin out to 9 now, but from a Jamaican point of view, Samoan scoreline continues to build as well, which isn't promising. Williams off to Fa'asavalu. Not much space to work in there, the Samoans. Evering around the post to Peterson Dunn. And Bryan cleverly keeps the ball alive.
Too many errors for Jamaica if they're trying to overhaul Australia's for and against rate. And if that's the case, what we're looking at is a battle to see who will play New Zealand in Saturday's semi-final. Will it be Jamaica or Samoa?
Good.
Ball for Samoa inside their defensive third. And Tuafoa receives and goes to Williams.
Wing penalty. Contact, wing defense, penalty pass.
And it's bounced down court, first through Hilton, then through Gibson. The contact, a lot of elbowing, pushing and shoving going on as players try and contain their opponents. And all this eats up time. It's against what Jamaica need to happen.
Salia, little look away pass into the path of Williams. Loose ball. And in fact, an offside call comes. Jamaica at 8, coming hard at the contest, and her opponent was Williams. Bryan receives Hilton, who cruises past and gives it to Forbes. Back to Bryan, and now Forbes works some slick hands into a scoring position now for the Jamaicans.
Beautiful play from Samoa, instigated by their skipper, Froggy Salia.
Yes, where you are.
We understand Chris and Francis, but we're under orders that nobody knows it that way.
Gibson
Wing attack.
has been rewarded. just a little too static here for Jamaica to present a major problem for Samoa. They do lead by 9, but it's not overly convincing. Ball slapped away.
Samoa just mounting too much of a challenge for Jamaica, so I think as they watch the clock tick down, it becomes increasingly aware to them that they are not in a scoring rate position to challenge Australia. It reverts back to, well, who will win this game? Who will come in second in the pool? Who will play New Zealand?
The incentive is there, albeit against the world champions, as your next opponent to push through to the biggest prize of all.
Samoa ranked number 6 in the world. It will be a huge step up for them to take this match. And the possibility of placing 4th at the worst at these games would make them celebrities at home. And forget that, would be a piece of history they can just cherish for themselves in this magnificent arena.
Williams on the burst, looking for Fa'asavalu, and then instead went to Latu.
And if we've seen a few nerves from some of these players as they step out in front of this spectacular full house here at the State Centre, imagine how they feel if they were in the medal playoffs when the event moves to Melbourne Park.
Hilton, that was a quick manoeuvre, realised Davis was the go-to player, and she got it there in a hurry.
Quick hands from Hilton and Davis, available and strong at the post.
Latu eases off Evering.
Well, it's not about a lack of accuracy. Davis finishing for them. The problem is she's just not getting enough ball. The other problem is Latu at the other end of the court is trading blow for blow.
And potentially the Jamaicans, well, they definitely would have been buoyed after last night's draw against Australia, but having seen the defending gold medalists crush Singapore, their mindset and their enthusiasm, realistic feeling that, well, beating Australia by percentages is going to be very difficult against this Samoan lineup.
So I guess it brings Jamaica back to their original mindset, that there was every possibility they would finish second pool. The crossover would be to New Zealand. So really, you're just looking at something they should already be prepared for. And it's the reality in an event like this. You really need to beat everybody in the competition to medal, to podium.
Contact, wing defence, no more. Yes.
Ball against Gibson, who's been spoken to a couple of times, not actually censured, but even by intonation in the call, you can sense that the umpires would like her to pull off a little. Latu looking for Samoa's 18th. She's been so sure under the post.
And it's not a question now of whether Jamaica can win this match handsomely. The Samoans are starting to close down a few of their options and creating some headaches of their own.
Davis just can't get it back quick enough to the centre. She needs not only Jamaica playing with a sense of urgency, she needs Samoa playing the same way.
So at what point here does Maureen Hall, perhaps after half-time, does she realise they can't overhaul the Australians, and it is the best practice to get their star players nursed through and perhaps even rested?
I don't know about resting. I think she's caught in a difficult situation. To be honest, I think they already have to give it up. I can't see them being able to put the dividend we need in the time that remains. We're looking at a 40-50 goal split here, and I just don't think it's going to happen. The problem for her is she's probably going to need to leave her top players out just to keep this a safe thing.
Contact on the ball, centre.
And when you consider how hard Ryan's been playing and Hilton's been playing for Jamaica, running the middle up and down for, well, this is the 7th day, how much jumping Davis has put in, the workload of Peterson done, I can't see her giving them much of a rest in this one.
And just to illustrate what you're saying, the 20th goal of the match means Jamaica would have had to have scored 72 in response. So that is a long way short of where they have to be.
And the higher Samoa go, the harder it becomes for Jamaica.
And that's why the Australians' effort in restricting Singapore so severely has just rocketed their percentage. And one I'm sure they were hoping for, but not necessarily expecting to do.
For wisdom in hindsight, had these two teams known early in the competition this was a factor, consider how they would have played their easier games. Always wise after the event.
Savone Forbes, acrobatics. She doesn't know there's percentage being played at the moment. She just wants to get out there and score for Jamaica.
And really, let's just leave it at that. Two very skilled teams contesting, and we should enjoy the contest.
For Arsavalu. They throw the ball around. Still inside their centre third. Now looking for Latu. Evering slaps the hand. She thought she might have been able to pull off an interception there. Just on 4.25 minutes to play. It's Jamaica by 9. They're led by 6 at the quarter-time break. Latu trying to make position. Salia drops it at the feet of Arsavalu.
And it's interesting, it's the Samoan bench that has left their seats, gone to the tunnel in preparation for possible changes in the second half. Jamaica sit down to their chairs, absorbed in the drama.
Centre pass for Jamaica. Forbes gives it to Bryan, and then the goal attack runs on, looking for Davis.
Ball thrown away again. It eats up time.
Come forward, wasn't it?
The 29-year-old captain of Jamaica doing a mighty job for her country tonight. Over the top to Latu. Didn't she pull that down with consummate ease?
She's just 19 years of age. What brilliant composure from the young Samoan shooter.
I would imagine that expression, one of almost permanent seriousness written onto her face. There's a little smile from time to time thinking about this performance by Samoa.
Jamaica just starting to push out their lead now, under 2 minutes remaining until half-time. Pushing it, or looking to push it out to a 10-goal split, but Samoa just keep doing enough, often enough, to spoil the party. And I think Maureen Hall, the Jamaican coach, resigned to relinquishing the fight for top of the pool. Now more concerned with more immediate problems.
Jamaica with their 32nd score of the night. Bounce pass comes out to Arsavalu. Latu underneath the post, but there's a causing call coming.
A dangerous play by Peterson Dunn, not releasing the landing space. Beautiful work from the skipper, Salia, to front cut her opponent and get beautiful feeding position, circle edge.
Samoa shooting at 76% as a team in this match. A loose ball knocked up by Davis, and Forbes ever so delicately Salia working for Samoa, pushing out wide now from Williams to Harder. Latu makes position. Across came Peterson Dunn. Made contact in the process.
Onasuafoa not giving much away, but she must be delighted with the performance of her Samoan players. Herself a veteran of international court, having played formerly for New Zealand, now pulling the reins for Samoa and pulling them well. A light touch.
Yes, Linda Wagner is just realising this match could be stolen with an ounce of luck along the way. Less than a minute to play. Jamaica does hold sway, but they're close enough at half-time can still cause Jamaica some concern. Time ticks away for Arsavalu.
Wing defence, pass or shot in the circle, wing defence, you're out of play.
Will she be beaten by time?
Yes.
Jamaica attracting a lot of whistle, and that, of course, is slowing the game down and not helping them in the defensive game they need to play.
Long ball, and launching herself was Davis. Great finish to the half for Jamaica. If it is indeed half-time, the score doesn't count. Wait and check on that. The whistle has been blown. The score does count. And at half-time, Jamaica coming off a 15-goal, make that 16-goal second quarter. Samoa, they were even in the first, even in the second, but they trailed by 9 at the half-time interval.
Ladies and gentlemen, we saw it happen in the last match. It's time for it again. It is the feature event tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Well, maybe not. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cadbury half-time scramble again. Let me introduce you to your competitors. Representing this side of the stadium, that's including you guys and that side there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together from Blackburn South. Here's Elizabeth! Good on you, Elizabeth. How you feeling, Elizabeth? Are you ready to go? Yeah. That's the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, representing the western side of the arena, you guys and you guys as well. Give it up for your competitor here. Whoever gets the most balls in is the winner. However, when you throw the last ball, make sure you run as fast as you can back over that line, because if nobody got one in, it's whoever finishes first. Whoever finishes the run back. Are you ready to play? Are you ready to go to 2006? Let's hear it, your competitor, Elizabeth. Let's hear it, your champion. Take your so this is going to be a big match, ladies and gentlemen. Set! Bang! And off! It is over here and takes off the good shot. Chance to burn pick up the ball. Jack gets to the catch. We want to pass the shot. Keep going, keep going. Get up to the person who gets the most. Elizabeth Smith off with a shot. Jack has a bounce. Oh, he's gone with it. Elizabeth, keep going with this. You can do it, Jack. Can you get the hat trick? Well done, guys. Now, the big news is that you each get a 1 kilogram block. I can't even do it, but you'll have to pick them up yourselves, guys. I can't. You will come and get one of them. 1 kilogram block of Cadbury chocolate. They are heavy. And Jackie did this study with Cadbury Netball as well. You know what to do with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our competitors. Jack, Elizabeth, and you guys are fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're the best. Well done.
Time comes to an end with Jamaica leading Samoa by 9. Third quarter about to begin. One stat that you haven't got there, Ann Sargent, is half-time. The entertainment, a young fellow called Jack, shooting 3 from 3 in a challenge to win a massive block of chocolate. Didn't he win over the crowd?
Talk about the hot hand. And he knew how to play the crowd. Salute on victory.
As they say, he got the chockies at the end of the night.
Sure did. Out comes Marion Johnson-Hurley with the ball for the restart. And Samoa will get us underway for the start of the third quarter. Samoa very consistent on their scoring rate, posted 13 a quarter, but ironically, Jamaica have fallen off their rate, 19 in the first quarter, 16 in the second.
For Asavalu. And Brian penalised for contact. Over the top to Latu, good ball. And a goal scorer for Samoa. Gets away to the best possible start.
Where you are, goal shooter. Goalkeeper across. Goalkeeper across. Yes.
There's been a pillar of strength for the Jamaicans in this tournament. Elaine Davis coming in with 83% productivity shooting-wise. Simone Forbes with exactly the same percentage before this match.
Ironically, if we made an assumption that Jamaica would take this match and therefore play New Zealand in the semi-finals, this is a great rehearsal for them. They're playing height at both ends, granted not the height of Van Dijk, but a similar style of game, similar speed of ball, nice high ball to the shooter, some cut and drive, sagging defence, a press at times. So it's a good rehearsal for Jamaica if it went along that road.
Just get the feeling, though, that New Zealand, from what we've seen, just have 1 or 2 more gears to give.
Oh, absolutely, but the style of play is similar. So if you wanted to warm up for it, to get your head around that style of play, this is kind of good for Jamaica. Mind you, they've got a way to go because Samoa might decide they'll take that berth themselves.
Unless Simone Forbes continues to cause trouble, as she has for most teams in this competition so far.
Can I keep playing devil's advocate with the Mats?
It's getting more unlikely by the moment as Latu scores again.
Well, that's the 29th goal for Samoa, and Jamaica need to have 93 on the board to cover the margin.
So really now it is a case of Maureen Hall getting this side playing positive netball, cohesive netball, and thinking of winning impressively. And to some respects, once that victory is under wraps, to get the score on, let's just make sure this is done in the right possible manner.
Absolutely. I'm not sure where the Jamaican heads are at the moment, but I think long ago they probably should have given up that factor and then just worked on their game, walking away from the game, number one, with the win and with confidence in the way they're playing.
Yeah.
For Asavalu, pleading for Talia to come across. Evering, yes, she got herself across. 50-50 call.
Went against Latu. Yeah, I don't really know that Latu was the contacting player. I thought she was cleaner and just went up at the ball. And we'll concede that Johnson-Hurley in far better position than us. Up comes Talia.
Forbes stands the ground. Hilton across to Bryant. And Davis stays out for a minute or two, and Forbes runs into a brick wall by the name of Suafoa.
Lorna Suafoa a little slow to release the distance then, but they come up with the rebound and the crowd behind them.
Contact, wing attack.
A little bit physical, some niggle just creeping into the match. And to the players' credit, despite a couple of bumps and bruises, they are fighting on.
They're upright. They're on deck. Yes, there's a few challenges thrown in late. They're unnecessary, and they're into the body, around the head area, arms and legs being thrown out. And I think it's born out of frustration, but it won't be tolerated by Bronwyn Meek or Johnson-Hurley. And you wouldn't want this close to the playoffs a player sent off, because it's just a very negative way to play the game. But playing into Samoan hands as they start to erode this lead.
There's been a couple of occasions where they've managed to sneak to within 6 or 7.
Interference with the post. Pass or shot?
Interference with the post, and Davis pushes it out towards a double-digit lead again. Talia feeds back to Williams. Harder in support. And for Arsavalu.
To give you a reminder of how much Samoa have lifted for this game, they lost to Australia by 31. And we're 5 minutes into the third quarter and the difference is just 9. Now that speaks volumes for their approach to this match and how much they cherish it.
Getting ample support from the crowd here at every possession, every goal.
Holding call against Lorna Suafo, who's been heavily penalised in this quarter by Bronwyn Meek. And it's just releasing Jamaica to a more comfortable shooting environment.
Yes, goal defence then.
So they continue to retain a handy buffer, not forgetting Australia led by about this margin at three-quarter time against Jamaica last night. Sorry to remind a former Australian captain of a disappointing result from hometown perspective.
That is a great spectacle of sport and always lessons learned. And really it just amplified the netball arena, the netball stage, I guess, for games, to see that kind of game. And probably just a wonderful reminder for the top sides, all of them, that really, even as far as 9 or 10 is not a secure place to be.
And Latu and the Samoans hoping Dan Sargent is right. Long ball, Davis outside her comfort zone, and now Samoa emerge through Harder. Williams, some space for Latu to work into. And that night sparked the Samoans, the crowd. You'd think Australia was playing here tonight. The support is quite outstanding.
And how proud must that woman feel, Linda Vangana, to have put her girls in a position just 7 down on the world number 3, clawing their way back towards level pegging. A disciplined display. Ball was on to Latu, then I'm
under the post.
A little bemused by the hesitancy to release the feed. They may get there yet through the penalty.
Chipping away at this lead. Well, it's hard to believe.
Well, that won't endear Peterson Dunn to the crowd, that little shove from an out-of-play position.
You have to say Catherine Latu looks like she can look after herself against Peterson Dunn. The scoreline starts to tighten significantly now, back to a 6-goal game, 7.5 to go before three-quarter time.
Causing call against Ophira Harder, just releases the pressure.
An 8-goal-to-5 run for Samoa in this term. They need to keep that trend moving in that similar direction.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Throwing their heart and soul into it, Suafoa. Once again, incurring the wrath of Bronwyn Meek.
Step aside here.
We haven't seen Jamaica tested to date in the competition, having a lead and having that feeling of everybody wishing it to go. We've seen them chase well. We haven't seen what they're like under pressure. I think we're about to.
The Samoans playing with terrific spirit. Williams combines with Suafoa, and ouch. That was a little crude from Tamara Hilton.
And you can hear the involvement of the crowd building, huge support from this largely Australian audience. I say that because there's lots of international guests, lots of participating teams. Malawi hiding up in the stands because they will face one of these teams.
The game is getting physical. It's also tightening up. 6 minutes to play. Elaine Davis back with the flight. And thank goodness she's underneath the post for Jamaica.
Well, experienced work from Jamaican captain to land that cleanly on court. For both of them to go over the line would leave it open for Meeks to say just a fair contest, throw it in.
Lovely gather by Bryan. Quick to the ball. Jamaica being challenged here. What have they got to offer in return? Peterson Dunn Now making space is Forbes.
The Jamaican feeders are being kept off circle edge. That's one of the few feeds from the circle. So it's tight marking outside by Harder and Williams.
Centre pass to come for Jamaica, so they can quickly restore that advantage, although Harder has pulled down the ball and the Samoans are on their way.
Good support play from Samoa. Whilst they're playing catch-up netball, there's not a sense of rush.
Harder stayed on
Oh,
side.
what a ball from the wing defence.
Latu stretches, launches herself.
There's the smile we've been waiting for from Catherine Latu. Has to acknowledge the skill from Harder. Beautifully weighted ball. And Latu always available. And again.
She's taking on the Jamaicans single-handedly inside the circle. She's getting enormous support from outside. And the crowd is becoming a factor here. The margin still is 6.
That a little too willing from Celia. Geraldine Celia at goal defence. Remembering 2 Celias on court for Samoa, the skipper at wing attack.
Goalkeeper. Come across, goalkeeper beside her. Yes.
Suafoa attracting lots of whistle. Forbes hands it off to her captain. And just nipping away at the heels of Jamaica here, but unable to put the right type of pressure on, and that is to get within a couple of goals. Fa'asavalu steadies. And there's that girl again, Catherine.
There's Malawi. Anxious observers. They will play the loser of this match tomorrow. So there's another factor to consider. The winner will rest tomorrow and play off the medal consideration on Saturday. The loser steps up again tomorrow and will face Malawi for the playoff for 5th and 6th seeding at the completion of the games.
The Jamaicans just with enough class to hold Samoa at bay at the present time, and in the bargain I would realise if they release the pressure it could blow out and make it difficult in the final quarter.
Yes, whilst there's a bit of niggling going on mid-court and some undisciplined play, great work from Davis and from Forbes ahead of her to be very composed.
Offside centre. Free pass.
Fancy feed as Celia tries to get herself back on court to handle the ball.
Fa'asavalu wants to create a scoring option for herself.
She concedes to the more fancied Latu, who hasn't put a foot wrong for Samoa.
Just over 2 minutes to play. A Jamaican centre pass, and Celia got a hand to that, but it spilt Jamaica's way. The turnover comes for Fa'asavalu. Crowd willing Latu onto this ball. I'm sure the Samoans are enjoying this overwhelming support.
I think they could play forever. No worries about them enjoying it.
Both of you beside her. Yes?
Under pressure from the Jamaicans, they get the ball across to Celia. Where's Latu? Perched behind Casey Evering.
I don't want us to sound condescending in our praise for their performance. They mean to win this. Every hunt to cause the upset.
Not quite. It's a juggling effort. And Evering, who fought valiantly for that ball, will come away with it. Yes, we were probably very premature, and that was an issue which had to be raised, the margin for Jamaica to win by, and showing some disrespect, I guess, to Samoa, but it had to be raised from a semi-final point of view.
Well, it's a game that has brought so many intricacies to it. It wasn't a simple must-win this to place there. There's so many factors dependent on it. It had to be put out there. And having put it out there, we move away and just enjoy the contest.
Less than a minute to play before three-quarter time. This State Netball and Hockey Centre is rocking, and unlike we've seen it probably all tournament, supporting Samoa. Latu slapped away by Evering. Seconds ticking away, and a Samoan score here will make the margin just 6, possibly on the 3/4 time whistle.
Jamaica will need to be quick on this. They may not have enough time. They need to go straight to the circle.
We saw it last night. They got down there in the blink of an eye. Less than 3 seconds to score. And this will hurt Samoa.
Inexperience from Salia there, who draws the obstruction. They'll need to stay on court because Meeks has called the penalty. Salia would have been better served staying right off then. So they'll wait for Salia. They convert, and Jamaica making good use of the centre.
So 3/4 time. Jamaica, a 12-goal turn from them, but Samoa edging their way closer with a 14-goal effort. At 3/4 time, it's a 7-goal margin in favour of the Jamaicans.
At the moment,